everybody, Chef Britt here with atbbq.com, and today we're making honey garlic ribs. So I've been here at All Things Barbecue for about a year now, and I figured we'd celebrate by doing something real easy with these honey garlic ribs. I'm also really excited to show you some new products, so let's just hop on in. All right, so we're gonna start by creating our own special blend for our rub. We're gonna start with a 1/3 cup of the Santa Maria seasoning from Oak Ridge. Now, this has great garlic flavor as well as some great pepper notes, some chili and herbs, and of course salt. We're gonna sweeten up this rub with some honey powder from Cosmos. I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons here. And then for some added texture and garlic and pepper notes, we're gonna do a tablespoon of grunt rub. I'm just gonna mix this all together and sort of break up the clumps of honey powder. Now the grunt rub and the Santa Maria are pretty savory and both pretty peppery, so the honey at this point is just going to sort of level out the pepper. Next we're gonna create our binder. So today I'm actually gonna use honey as my binder. And I'm gonna start with a couple tablespoons of this cayenne infused honey from Juniper Clay. It's probably one of my new favorite things for ribs. And because honey has a hard time holding on to cold meat, we're gonna add a little bit of this honey powder to help get a grip onto the meat. So we'll just mix it together and it will become more of a paste. All right, so now on to the ribs. The first thing you want to do after getting it out of its packaging is just to pat it dry, just so it's easier to manage. Next thing we're going to do is take off this membrane that's sitting over the bones. It helps to have a little grip using a paper towel. Sometimes the butchers have trimmed it, and sometimes there's little gashes on this side, so sometimes you can't really get a clean pull off of this membrane, but sometimes you can. All right, so the silver skin is pretty thick right around here, so I'm actually just going to start by trimming that off. And hopefully that will allow the silver skin underneath here to release a little bit easier. Just get right in that crevice a little bit and help break up that little piece that just wants to kind of stick in there. All right, and just so things cook nice and even, I'm gonna go ahead and just trim off some of this bone. And any sort of these extra bits that are just never gonna break down. And I'm also going to square up this side just for a nice presentation. Now let's apply our seasonings. We'll start with the binder. And again, the honey's going to want to seize up a little bit if your meat is pretty cold, but once you just kind of get it going, it will rub in. And honey, like salt and sugar, is hygroscopic, so it's going to help pull that moisture up to the surface and really give a good landing place for your rubs. Okay, now we're going to get our rub on here, and I'm just going to generously season and making sure I get every spot of the surface. What I love about using the honey as a binder is it helps really just saturate this rub almost immediately. So we'll allow that seasoning to sort of tack up and really adhere to the meat before heading out to the grill. It'll just be a few minutes. All right, so we're using the Yoder Smokers pellet grill today. We've got it stocked full of apple pellets. We've got it rolling at 275 degrees. Let's get it on. All right, now this is set up for indirect smoking. And we're gonna just make sure that that honey doesn't really want to caramelize too fast, so we're gonna make sure we're on the top rack there. We'll see you in about 2.5, 3 hours. All right, so here we've got another rack of ribs that we started a little bit earlier. They've been going for about 3.5, almost 4 hours now. Let's give them a look. Beautiful mahogany color here, but still have some sort of pliability in there. So we're gonna go in and wrap them up and get them finished. So I've laid down 2 layers of foil here. I'm gonna go ahead and start making my braise. It's gonna be a combination of this Blues Hog honey mustard, this garlic infused honey from Zinger's, and a moundful of sliced garlic. Get a nice little drizzle on that. Get a little moisture back into everything with the mustard. And then I've thinly sliced about 6 to 8 cloves of garlic. And this is going to give us some great savory flavors. Okay, so meat side down. We'll start with 1 layer and wrap it really tight. We want to try our best to preserve that bark that we work so hard to get. All right, so now I'm going to take this back out to the grill. I'm going to flip it onto the meat side down on the top level there, and then I'm going to kick up the temperature up to 350, and we'll give it another hour, maybe a little bit more, just until it's really tender. It's been an hour. Let's pull them off. Wow, the smell coming off this is incredible. Let's see how we're doing on tenderness here. Oh yeah, those are fall off the bone, which, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Look at all of that caramelized garlic. These are beautiful, but I'm going to give them about 10 minutes of rest time here before slicing into them. Let's do it. I'm just going to go right down the center. Super succulent, still holding its texture very well. It's not shredding further off the bone, but just a little bit. Just pop that bone out. Take a bite. I'm gonna get a little bit of this garlic right on the end there from a bite. Holy crap, guys. You know, in my trials for this recipe, I thought they were a little too spicy, a little too peppery, so I kind of ramped up the sweetness, and it's just making everything just really sing. I love this. I love this rib. I love you, rib. Thanks everybody for joining me today while I make these honey garlic ribs. If you get a chance to make them, let us know in the comments. If you want to see the full recipe, check out the link down below. And if you want to see more recipes, tips, and techniques, check out atbbq.com/sauce. And if you want to see any of the awesome infused honeys that we use today or any of the other flavors, check out atbbq.com. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.